Well, hello everybody. Today we're going to be playing a deck that I really wanted to play in case Altar of Dementia gets banned tomorrow. So, being our announcement Monday, get hyped. So, it's not really integral to this deck. It is an alternate card to tutor up, though, as well as being a way to fairly grind out if our infinite combo backs up. But we're going to be playing Rakdos Artifact Mill. So this is mildly a misnomer. It is technically Jund, but it's only got a little bit of green for Leyline of the Void Hate in the side. So we have it. It's not really important. But yeah, so we're going to be trying to infinitely mill people. First up is going to be the primary combo of the deck. I believe Saffron Olive did an original list of this a while back. It's Heartless Summoning with Mirror Retriever, and then an Enter the Battlefield payoff like Altar of the Brood to just infinitely mill out your opponent. The way that the combo works is Mirror Retriever is going to cost 0. Mirror Retriever is going to enter the battlefield. It's going to get -1/-1 thanks to Heartless Summoning, die to state-based actions, hit the yard, pick up the second Mirror Retriever in the yard. You'll pick that up, put it back in hand, and play it, and just loop the 2. Then every time that one of the permanents enters the battlefield, you mill your opponent for 1. So that's going to be our primary win condition. I'm not overly excited about how this is going to go down. Linear strategies in Modern typically work. This is doable as early as turn 2, so I mean, we've got the power. It can definitely happen, but we also did get a couple of new toys for this. So we end up getting Goblin Engineer. Goblin Engineer notably can put a Mirror Retriever into the yard for us, as well as tutor up any of the specific pieces that we need. We are running the Snow sub-theme. I actually think Dead of Winter did fantastically in our mono black Devotion deck. So kind of excited to give this another shot, as well as fixing for our green that we need. Then we also get Unearth. So if for some reason both of our Mirror Retrievers hit the yard, they have a bolt, they interact with us, we just unearth one of them and continue the combo, as well as being able to Goblin Engineer and let it die or sack it to an altar and then unearth it to go tutor up another Mirror Retriever. So again, a couple of new toys. Then we get Grinding Station. It's an alternate way that we can win without the Altar of Dementia. It also mills 3 at a time, which means that we can fairly mill out our opponent if we kind of get it going. Altar of Dimension is the card that might be on the chopping block for Hogak. So if it is banned tomorrow, not really expecting anything, but we need to be running this tonight. And then we also are going to be trying to do this behind an ensnaring bridge. Typically, if you're doing something stupid and janky, behind a bridge is the safest place to do it. And that's our deck. So we're going to be kind of toolboxy. We have a bunch of random cards, but we hopefully are just going to mill ourselves until we find 2 Mirror Retrievers and then one of the 3 combo pieces and just mill our opponents out. So we do need to dodge some very specific hate, Leyline of the Void, Surgical Extraction. Like, we are a graveyard deck, which means that we're going to scoop to a lot of interaction, but yeah, let's go ahead and do this. The 4th of July record was not very good. Let's get that out of here and forget that happened. Alright, so this is our one of Overgrown Tomb, a Field of Ruin, uncastable Goblin Engineer. We have no snowlands for this Dead of Winter, but if it's a graveyard matchup, it's probably a win. Nihil Spellbomb's at least going to be a redraw. We have 2 redraws, and we can tutor one of our combo pieces. Oh, this is so ugly. I don't want to go to 6. It is London Moles, though. Let's take the mulligan. We can do better. Ichor Wellspring, redraw. Nihil Spellbomb, redraw. Venter's Fair can tutor a combo piece. Packrat and Heartless Summoning is not a combo. Let's just do this and get rid of the Packrat. Alright. Opponent's playing something fair. Probably Devoted Druid combo at this point. Or potentially some variant of Taxes. Blast Zone's probably going to be important here. Doesn't enter tapped. Inventor's Sphere doesn't enter tapped. Let's just go ahead and go grab our Overgrown Tomb so that we have all 3 colors. We'll also look like the Rock with this start. And get our redraw out there. Might be slightly slow for the Devoted Druid combo if they just have the Nutter Butters, though. That is a bridge. So If we empty our hand, they'll need a Noble Hierarch and Shalai to win that way. Otherwise, they need a Walking Ballista. Alright, well, let's get our redraws on. They didn't do anything yet, so the Blast Zone's actually going to have the ability to kill the Devoted Druid. And that's going to tutor one of our pieces, so we just need to find another Mirror Retriever. It's Bant. So this is Infect? No, it's Devoted Druid. It's Cheerios. Oh no, this is Massive Hammer. Hello, Ensnaring Bridge. They already used their call, so they won't be able to go get a Rexage if they have one in the main. Here's the Pure Steel, nowhere near Metalcraft. Nope, it's Cheerios. Alright, we might just be dead here. The way that this deck works is every time that an equipment enters the battlefield, they get a draw card. So they run a bunch of Cheerios, which are 0 CMCs. So it's just a free artifact, free artifact, free artifact, free artifact. Then they're going to cast something like Retract or Hurkyl's Recall. And then they're going to pick up all the equipments and replay them. They're going to draw their entire deck, get their storm count massively high, and then gut shot for the kill. So top decking a Mirror Retriever is lethal here. No, that's sad. Goblin Engineer can go get a Mirror Retriever. Astrolabe would be free, but that shuts off the Goblin Engineer. Alright. I just want to see more cards. Looks like opponent can't kill us yet, but they're probably close. If they untap with the blue mana, it's likely going to happen. There's the Mirror Retriever. Alright. Well, that puts us 1 mana off. Alright, so what I'm thinking here is I actually filter into red and Goblin Engineer, put a Mirror Retriever in the yard. That would tell opponent what we're doing. Or just Heartless. Yeah, let's Heartless Summoning. So I don't actually want to put the Mirror Retriever into the yard yet. If opponent doesn't kill us, we have them at lethal next turn. Where if we run out of Mirror Retriever, they're going to see what we're doing and know to bring in Graveyard Hate. Alright, opponent, we're F6. See if you can pull it off. Cheerios with Giver of Runes doesn't seem very intuitive. I'm not surprised they bricked off already. Latimari's Call and... Alright, so that was not their primary game plan. They have something here. Just a Saram. Alright, looks like we get to kill him. So this is going to be Goblin Engineer. Should cost colorless less. Oh wait, I don't have a way to actually kill them yet. So I can go infinite, but I don't have a payoff for ETB. That was a mistake. I needed to crack the Spell Bomb first to try to find an actual win condition. And Goblin Engineer last turn would have actually made it so I could sack the Ichor Wellspring and see more cards. Oh boy, so many problems so far. I can get Grinding Station. It's not going to come in. Walking Bliss is not going to do anything. Pithy Needle's not going to do anything. Arcbound Ravager will just die. Yeah, I think we're just going to set up the combo. So it is nice when it just works right off the bat. Game 1, Mirror Retriever. Dies, pick up the other Mirror Retriever. Infinite combo. That's sad though. Alright, well, Let's blow up your graveyard and draw nothing of value. Boy, that's aggravating. Yep. Ship it on back. That is so aggravating. So playing Goblin Engineer on 2 was a misplay. I think that's what we're coming back to. Opponent still doesn't have a payoff, though. So that means I get to get rid of the Wellspring, grab the Spell Bomb. Blow that up, draw another card. There's a Cage. Cage doesn't really help, though. I feel like I'm missing a line, but I don't really have one. I was still a turn away from the Inventor's Fair. Inventor's Fair next turn will be lethal. Cage doesn't really resolve anything. Bridge will make it so that they can't attack. Is that better than putting a counter on Blast Zone? Probably not. We need one more turn to untap. That'll get us Inventor's Fair, and we have everything to work. I maybe needed to run the Ensnaring Bridge out. The Ensnaring Bridge would have made it if they found 2 Bone Saws off of a small combo off. Okay, they pretty much have it. Let them play it out just a little bit, but odds are they've got it. Oh, I need a Damping Sphere in the 75. No, because that stops our combo too. They have a Mentor? Okay, if that's their win condition, we're solid. We actually might need them to completely play it out. Because that means that they need to find a way to get haste as well. Actually, let's do that so we can actually put a counter on Blast Zone. So Inventor's Fair can go get us a Alter the Brood. We'll have 1 mana up to actually cast it, and then Mirror Retriever loop. That all seems fine. Did opponent really brick off again? They've hit like all of their lands. I guess they are running Giver of Runes and Latimari's Calls. Like, it's probably not impossible. They haven't had a Bonsai yet, which means that they can't get lethal for us. This is a really weird build of Cheerios. Did they find another mentor? Oh, they have Paradoxical Outcome? Alright, well, Urza doesn't go infinite. I don't know, Serafix. What do you think of Urza and Cheerios? I mean, they get a free cast something off the top. These Giver of Runes can tap for mana as well. I mean, I'm playing Heartless Summoning Mill, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to have opinions, but okay. So now you actually do need to draw into Retract. You are actually getting enough mana that you can recast with Urza. Okay, there's the Retract. So now you need to find another Mox Opal and a Grape Shot. Or some random shenanigan that gives haste. Mentors usually sideboard in Cheerios. You typically just want to go for the normal kill game 1 and then get the attrition kill with Mentor game 2 and 3. But they haven't shown that they can kill us yet, so... Okay, there's all creatures get haste. So Ensnaring Bridge last turn would have been the correct call. Alright. Well, 2 punts on my side so far. Gearport Aether Grid can actually allow us to use some of our cheaper artifacts to kill their creatures. Slaughter Games was in here for Surgical Extraction. Opponent might actually have it, but odds are that I'm not going to need that. Walking Ballista seems less good. I care less about the graveyard, although the redraw is nice. Assassin's Trophy can snag a Mentor. That's probably not good enough. If I had to put opponent on any graveyard hate, it would probably be a Rip, which means Assassin's Trophy actually does need to stay in, as well as Maelstrom Pulse. Dead of Winter is oddly relevant versus the Mentor strategy. Ashiok's pretty bad. It turns off a lot of Mari's Call, but that's about it. Ratchet Bomb is, again, surprisingly good. Having one Pack Rat seems fair, just in case they do actually have Surgicals and they snag our Mirror Retrievers. Pithy Needle, naming an equipment's not very good. Alright, no Snowlands in an Astrolab, that's impressive. Let's get rid of that. This is doable. And we can tuck the Grinding Station for now. Actually, that was probably a mistake. We have a Mirror Retriever. Oh well. Let's see what we can do. Yep, that Grinding Station was a mistake. We could have had a slow one. It would have been a win, but a slow one. And why not? Let's have a 1-1. I am feeling mildly tilted in game 1 not playing the Engineer on turn 2. That would have been the game 2 turns earlier for us. Alright, it is possible for Cheerios to win on turn 2. But it looks like they fizzled already. Yeah. I don't know what's going on here. Seeing as how opponent is on the haste version of the deck, I think that means that I have to get Ensnaring Bridge out. As much as I just want to sit here and draw cards as much as I want to, like, this just seems like the best play. So right now SRAM can attack, but if they drop a Mentor and continue comboing, they're not going to be able to win. Yeah, I did a really poor job with that Engineer game 1. Hey, look at that, a mentor. So next turn I can run out my hand, but I'll draw a card. Actually, I'll draw two, one for turn and one off the Wellspring. I'm actually curious why opponent thinks that this build is superior to the typical version. I mean, they get to have all this fun, and they're going to have a ton of monk tokens, but odds are I just untap and draw a Dead of Winter and clear the board. This one can't get through Ensnaring Bridge. It's weak to Echoing Truth. Ouch. That's a Heartless Summoning. So I need to leave red up in case I find a Engineer. Alright, so if I run out Heartless Summoning with two Mirror Retrievers, they can pick each other both up. Yeah, that seems fine. Just trying to get more cards out of my hand. Having Mirror Retrievers on the battlefield is actually mildly relevant versus the Surgical line. If it's on the battlefield, they can't remove it with Surgical. With Mentor, Surgical being a free spell means they're more likely to cast it. This isn't a May ability, so I've got to keep in mind that they might just get stuck in hand with nothing else that I care about. If opponent stops here, they are actually attacking for lethal. Okay, they just want to go off. They actually had us dead there. They would have attacked in with 16 damage on monks and 4 damage on... I guess Mentor couldn't have attacked. So they were one off. Retract is an instant, though. They could have attacked and then retract, and these would have been 3/3s. Yeah, I really don't know what's going on over there. We were playing a fun deck, though, so... Opponent, you have fun. Well, they are definitely having fun. Look at all the monk tokens. So they're probably looking for a disenchant. Actually, they showed us red. They're probably on Wear Tear. No, they showed us green. So Nature's Claim? When they kill us with a lot of damage. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Nature's Claim. There's a little Teferi, bounce the bridge, attack in. Alright, well, they got it. They just need to show me the actual haste thing. Although they're tapped out and haven't played a Paradise Mantle yet. Oh yeah, 8/8s. Derp to derp. Alright, they got it. So, Cheerios actually gets to take down other jank decks. That's probably worth making a note of. Cheerios has kind of been on my list of decks that I want to play. I actually have it in paper, and it's just never really impressed me. Definitely don't think running Urza and a lot of Mari's Call is correct, though. Like, they had us dead on turn 2 if they actually had good cards. And what the heck is going on with these hands? These terrible, terrible hands. We have 21 lands. How do we have 5 of them? Oh boy. That looks so tempting. So very tempting. Yeah, we're doing it. I'm greedy, but we're doing it. Get rid of a Dead of Winter. We're on the draw. And it's burned. Lovely. So that means we have to actually draw into our very specific hate pieces. Alright, well that's fine. I know I'm doing next turn. Inventor's Fair only cares about 3 artifacts. That's a poorly timed Assassin's Trophy. So I can get rid of the Mentor here. I don't think that's correct. Alright, fine. So next turn is Inventor's Fair with Mirror Retriever. Alternatively, it's just run out Pack Rat and be able to unearth it. Or just die here. We can die here. 2 more bolts. That's going to be 4. Yeah, we're dead if they have 2 bolts. Another Boros Charm. Wow, that's painful. That's really painful. Ashiok doesn't really accomplish anything if Mirror Retriever survives, which it won't. So maybe just Dead of Winter, and then if opponent has a bolt, they have a bolt. I mean, they have 3 cards, so we're pretty much dead. Make them know we have Dead of Winter. Die? Alright, well, early versions of this deck had Collective Brutalities on the side, but that's not really going to get us there. Wow, we don't even really have anything good. So, Mir Superion is free. It's a 4/5 with Heartless Summoning out. And we have a lot of random hate pieces. Unfortunately, I think we're just in draw our combo or die land. I don't like that place. That's a sad, sad place. That's a really sad place. Ashiok doesn't actually accomplish anything, so potentially more Pack Rats is actually fine. I was going to say Pulse can get rid of multiple stuff on the ground, but I think I'd prefer to have Aether Grid to try to take out creatures if that's what their game plan is. But Pack Rat's actually a blocker. It can grow. It can actually be a relatively fast clock. This is turn 1 Altar, turn 2 Goblin Engineer, turn 3 Ensnaring Bridge with basically an empty hand. Okay. Well, Inventor's Fair can actually get us to gain life, so I'm okay with that. Actually, I might need to get a Blood Crypt with that, so let's go ahead and just start on Altar. Goblin Engineer can go get a Mirror, and then if we draw one, we just have the combo? Yeah, not excited about taking the shock, but we need to. Smash the smithereens. Lovely. They had more sideboard hate than we did. Alright, let's go grab our mirror. Ratchet Bomb could slow them down a bit, but I don't think that's where we want to be at. There's the Mirror Retriever. Got an Eidolon. Alright. Eidolon can kill us. Yep. So next turn is Field of Ruin and Snaring Bridge. I can just discard the Walking Ballista. Then I'll have a Heartless Summoning, whatever I drew for turn in hand. Engineer's going to save us life here. He's not going to do anything, and he's not even going to gain power when Heartless Summoning comes down. So Walking Ballista comes down. That turns off. It doesn't turn off anything yet except for 2 bolts main phase. That's fine. They might actually have multiple spells. So currently getting in 1, but it's reduced by 2, and then it's going to have -1/-1, so it's still just going to die. Milled the Sunbait Canyon, and let's see what opponent can do. We can get pretty close to emptying our hand, but we're going to be dead to 3 bolts, so... Yeah, I knew that this was a linear strategy, but it's graveyard-based, and it's a little bit slow for Modern. That land's going to make Ensnaring Bridge bad. Mirror Retriever still wins, though? What do I get? Blast Zone's okay. Blast Zone will actually get rid of our altar, so odds are I don't want to use it. Okay, that's fine. Blast Zone, clear all 3 of their 1-drops. Pack Rat. Blast Zone's actually going to cost all of our mana. Oh boy. Yep, we dead. But we'll make them have it. If they have another creature, then we'll be at least alive for another turn. Mirror Retriever? That's a land. Play all their creatures, and they bolt us, and that's the game. All right. Well, one more, then Bell and Cannon if it goes as poorly as those first 2 games. That's what I'm thinking. I had hopes and dreams for this one, but apparently they were unfounded. I went through so many different renditions with Marionette Master and Locket of Yesterdays and just so many different things to try to make this work, but might be coming up just a little bit slow. So this deck is probably most comparable to Grixis Whir. We don't get Whir of Invention. One of the cards I actually was really wanting to work here would have been... Let's see if I can pull it up really quick. The new Trinket Mage, though. Tribute Mage. So when it enters, you can search your library for an artifact with converted mana cost 2 or less and reveal them. If we actually do go back and look at the deck view, we have Mirror Retrievers, we have the Altar, we have Grinding Station, Ratchet Bomb, Ichor Wellspring, Arcbound Ravager, basically all of our alternate win conditions as well as our combo. But adding blue would have made us need to go into Urza and Whir and just so many different cards that didn't really seem like they fit our strategy that well. All right, well, keeping these kind of lackluster hands hasn't really been getting us anywhere, so let's start looking for the combo a little bit harder. This is an Altar, and one of the pieces we can ship back a dead land. Sure, let's make it the Field of Ruin. All right, another fair deck. That's a bad card. Pause while opponent reads Modern Staple Altar of the Brood. Alright, so looking more like Smallpox, Black-White Tokens, or 8-Rack. Nope, this is Malaria Pod. Or Nivalive. No, they're playing Standard. Okay. Trick's on you, opponent. We played the only card that mattered. The Cervelle actually makes me mildly sad. The Cervelle means that they're probably trying to mill themselves a bit. Also, don't know how good it was just milling the top card for no reason because we are definitely playing a land for turn. That is a scrying sheets. Yeah, it's likely 5 color, but a Thought Eraser seemed weird. I'm really thinking it's the Niv deck that Saffron Olive played. Alright, well, I don't have much incentive to go get green here, so I'm just going to go get another Snow Mountain. Wow, they are playing standard. They're playing the Infinite Ral. Actually, so they look a little bit slower. I'm going to grab the Blood Crypt just because that means that Scrying Sheets is more likely to actually hit a Snowland if I leave another one in the deck. Sorry, I need this window. Kaya takes our altar. That's slightly awkward. Pretty much confirmed Miv at this point, though. Yeah, I mean, you do you, opponent. We'll do us. That is a Grafdigger's Cage. So, is it Selesnya, Orzhov? This is a Miv deck, so the Grafdigger's Cage is actually super relevant here because it's going to shut off what they're trying to do. They won't be able to Goryo's Vengeance or Bring Delight, which means Kai's going to have to hit it, but that's just a turn where they're not trying to play with us. Also means that if they have a red land and Faithless Looting Goryo's, they're going to have to... I guess Kaya just stops it first. Planeswalkers are powerful. Alright, and they don't seem to care about the Grafdigger's Cage. There's a Blood Braid into a Sin Collector. Okay, kind of don't care about any of those. But there's Gruul and Orzhov, so yeah, they're definitely on Niv. Pillar basically confirms Niv. That's an Ensnaring Bridge. Alright, so let's just run that guy out. Opponent shouldn't be able to attack. Yeah, if we can't beat the Niv deck, definitely get a Bellin Cannon. Serafix, do you actually know if there's any new tech for Modern Horizons? I actually haven't tried to update that since Horizons came out. Hey, look at that. There's Niv. So they're going to look at the top 10 cards and basically take any of the guild colors out. They revealed Lightning Helix. They found a freaking K command? Okay, well that's bad. And an Assassin's Trophy and a Detention Sphere. So I have this turn to draw into... I don't think it's going to happen. Narset Cannon. The fast, explosive Narset deck that takes extra turns and shoots your opponent down. I feel like there's one card meant for Narset Cannon in Horizons. I just can't remember what it is. Seeing as how my deck's not 100% ready since Modern Horizons, I kind of want to have a backup plan. Okay. There's a Goblin Engineer. So Goblin Engineer, if it sticks around, can save me for a full turn. So this is going to go get a mirror for me. It does tell opponent what I'm doing, but getting the mirror means that I can bring back the ensnaring bridge after they blow it up by sacking the astrolabe, and then I'm top decking for a win. And I overpaid for it, so let's just go ahead and scry sheets now. They're going to blow up the ensnaring bridge as it is, so... Oh, look at that. Oh, they exiled... And they have Kaya. Whatever. We're going to go to the next one as soon as I accept this card hoarder order. Okay. All right. Opponent has this win like 4 different ways, so not sure what's taking so long. Okay, they took the mirror. They took the ensnaring bridge. Getting hit for 11. Oh, they didn't attack with Miv? Okay. I don't know what's going on from opponent's side. They have this 20 different directions. Yeah, alright, let's just move on. Game 2. 5-color random shenanigans. So, Grafdigger's Cage is good. Alpine Moon can actually fix their mana, so that's bad. Slaughter Games can take out Niv since that's their entire strategy. Pulse can get rid of the Planeswalkers. Honestly, hitting Kaya was the only reason we couldn't take that there. Gearport Aether Grid can turn our artifacts into kill spells, but we're not going to get 12 artifacts for Niv, and Sin Collector's still going to do damage just from the end of the battlefield. Leyline's not going to really do anything. Yeah, I'm not overly sold about this. Ashiok can turn off fetch lands on turn 3, so it's probably worth hanging on to. Altar of Dementia, why not? I'm kind of over this one. Let's just run it like that and see what happens. Trying to figure out if there's a random piece for Narset Cannon because I've already in my head moved on to the next one. Picked up a couple of tickets to EQ. There's nothing there. Alright, so opponent, would you like to submit? You're basically just going to get a free win here. No? Okay. Sure, there's a place to drop here. I just don't see it. League details? Alright. Let's just do this. Opponent got the timeout victory. So, join league. We want Narset Cannon. Unfortunately, not playing with anything new, but let's go ahead and do this. So, Narset Cannon. I don't really have an easy, ready-to-go Narset Cannon list for highlights, so I'll just pull up the last deck. Narset Cannon is a very explosive and very inconsistent deck. So we're going to get a lot of kills that just come out of nowhere. But what we're trying to do is get Narset the Enlightened Master into play. Whenever she attacks, you get to exile the top 4 cards of your library and cast them for free. Then we're going to repeatedly take extra combat steps with a variety of different cards until we hit an Omniscience or a Enter the Infinite. Then we get to draw our entire deck, cast everything for free. In that is 1 Emrakul. The Emrakul is going to get us an extra turn. The Enter the Infinite is going to put 1 more card back on top. Then we're going to swing in. We can win a couple of different ways, but that's the pretty generic line. How do I update my stream title? Here we go. this hand. So we have the Serum Powder, which means we get a free mulligan. I typically don't like doing it with a Goryo's Vengeance. We also have 4 of our mana sources in this hand, and one of our 4 Goryo's Vengeance. I don't think that we can powder this, so we're just going to take a natural mulligan. This is a very, very easy Serum Powder hand. So this Serum Powder is going to get rid of the bad Ultimatum. It's going to get rid of 2 lands, which is mildly unfortunate, but it's going to get rid of the other Serum Powder. So this is taking multiple blinks out of our deck and turning on our Pull from Eternities. Yeah, pretty much. We are going to powder this. Oh, I need to put a card on bottom. Okay, that makes sense. So let's put that on bottom. Then done. Hey, it worked. This is a Fury of the Horde, a Spoils. So I get to open on Faithless Looting, Spoils for the combo piece, and we actually have a powder? No, we're going to powder this. Gemstone Mines, there's the Pull from Eternity. This does not have a Goryo's Vengeance, or actually it just doesn't have a Goryo's Vengeance. So we can take this and try to draw it into one that's going to be 4 of 42, 10% chance. Alternatively, we mulligan. I know, this is fine. We're on the draw, so we'll go ahead and just get rid of Brilliant Ultimatum. Okay, opponent clicked through their turn. Let's go ahead and put Narset in the yard. This is mildly weak to Graveyard Hate, but it allows us to Goryo's Vengeance if we top deck it. Or we just draw Spoils like a boss. So their end step, I'm going to Spoils for Goryo's Vengeance, untap, and then hopefully kill them. Not really sure what opponent's doing here. But sure, we'll go for that. Spoils of the Vault can kill us here. We get to name a card. We'll end up drawing that card, but lose life equal to the number of cards that we reveal that way. That's going to be a Goryo's Vengeance. Oh, look at that. It was on top. We're so good at this game. And we even drew a red card, so we get a free redo with the Fury of the Horde. Alright, so Narset gets to attack. Ta-da! Show me omniscience. Actually, Enter the Infinite. I want Enter the Infinite. Okay, we did get an omniscience. So we exiled Emrakul, right? Not yet. Well, this omniscience means that we get 3 redos. So opponent's basically just dead here. When did I set up a damage stop? Alright, free omniscience. We know everything. Free Fury of the Horde. Untap all of our creatures. We get an extra attack step. Opponent's reading every card. Clearly never seen this deck before. Oh. I mean, they didn't know we had 3 more in hand, but okay. Guess they have seen this before. So, opponent's deck is likely Devoted Druid combo. What does that mean for us? It means that we probably want nothing. Anytime that you play Narset, you want to bring in these 4 cards. These 4 cards are here so that you can actually bounce Rips and Grafdigger's Cages. So I need those 4. Anytime that I make this trim, I usually like to trim on Brilliant Ultimatums, a Savage Beating, and a Serum Powder. These decks... Nice Rector. Savage Beating is just the most awkward one to cast. You can't entwine it with Omniscience, so you have to pay the mana, and we're light on mana. Brilliant Ultimatum is our worst redraw. And Serum Powder is great for setting up good hands. Considering how inconsistent this deck is, we need to try to get as much of that as possible, but we can't get rid of too many cards that we care about. Yeah, this is bad. That's really bad. Nothing here that matters. So we're basically looking for a couple of combo pieces. We're looking for lands to actually make it happen, a way to get Narset into the bin, and a Goryo's Vengeance. If you notice my wording choice there, the only card I actually named was Goryo's Vengeance. So yeah, what I get to do here is I need to tuck 2 cards, but we have the win if we find a land. So we're going to keep this. We need to put 2 cards on the bottom. That's going to be Enter the Infinite and Unsubstantiate. Hope that they don't have a rip. Then Gemstone Caverns comes out, so we start a land up. That exiles Narset, which means that we can pull her from Eternity and actually put her into the bin. Yeah, blue-white flyers actually is really good in limited and a lot of the times in standard, especially if there's really good support for it. Just because it's doing something above the other decks and typically allows you to run more counterspell interaction and stuff like that. We're so good at this game. So good. I've seen a lot of opponents scoop at this point. You're supposed to make them play it out because it's very possible that we whiff here. Yeah, we got 1 redraw. Wow, opponent's actually considering blocking? You're not supposed to block. It's still possible that we whiff. Oh, I love this deck. Why do I play anything but Narset Cannon? Like, even if we whiff, I'm just having a fantastic time. Yep, we just won. So, untap all your creatures. There's an additional combat step. Savage Beating is awkward, so I actually had to cast that in combat, which usually makes clicking... Okay, well, that's why I hate that card, is because it never seems to play correctly. Like, even getting all my steps, it's so easy to click through a Savage Beating. Alright, there's Enter the Infinite. We did win for sure. So this is cast Enter the Infinite. Draws 42 cards. We're going to put Omniscience back on top of our deck. Then we're going to cast the Fury of the Horde. Move to the next combat step. Even through a misclick, we get attack. That's going to put Omniscience into play. Alright, opponent didn't even want to play it out. So, very decisive game 1. And I never updated the overlay. Let's get that fixed. So, Narset Cannon is very explosive. It does very, very, very busted things, but it's usually not that consistent. So we did have to mull it to 5, but we did actually win through a misclick, which is pretty impressive. And you'd never want to play first because you have Gemstone Caverns and you actually care about the cards in your hand. You always let opponent play first. And this is another easy win. So this is going to be turn 2 unless I find a Simian Spirit Guide. Exiling a Faithless Looting. Fury of the Horde is free castable by exiling 2 red cards, which means odds are we're going to be able to make that work. And opponent's on Faithless Looting. I was scared there for a second, opponent. I thought for sure you would discard. That's a Gemstone Caverns. Not what I was looking for, but Simian Spirit Guide? Never lucky. I almost didn't discard Narset. Alright, opponent's on Hogok. If they can get a Hogok out this turn, I could actually lose just because Narset can't attack through Hogok. For some stupid reason, they gave this card First Strike. So it gets through insolent neonates and carrion feeders and the like, although carrion feeder can't block, so that's not really relevant. But it does not get through a massive 8/8 very well. It doesn't really get through 2 zombies very well either. Alright, well, for some sick reason, I also got 3 mana, which means I can flashback Faithless Looting and keep looking. There's a Stitcher Supplier. Opponent's finding all the good stuff. There we go. This is technically Narset Cannon 3, but nobody's paying attention. You're currently up 1-0. Oh, they tap down the... Oh, they get Hogak back? That's sad. That's really sad. So I need to find a... Ugh. I need to find a lot. On the plus side, my Narset's going to die. Narset comes in. Narset attacks. That's Enter the Infinite. So this should still be able to get me to win. But I need an extra combat step. Okay, I need to think about this for a second. So Fury of the Horde is going to give me an extra combat step in main 2. Enter the Infinite is going to make it so I draw my entire deck. I can still run this out for black. I should have 2 Simian Spirit Guides that I can pull up, which means I can draw Faithless Looting and cast Agorio's Vengeance. Get another attack step. So if I get the opportunity to get blocked by Hogak, I'm going to give Double Strike, so the second Narset will kill it. Alright, so we should still be good. Oh, opponent, you had 3 Bridge from Belows on turn 2 on the play. You thought you were the best start in Modern. I think opponents try to figure out what we're doing. Either that or just try to figure out if we actually have a win from this. Oh, they're not blocking. Okay, so untap all creatures. There's an additional combat step. All right, that's another Savage Beating. So let's figure out what they want to do. I'm going to laugh when I just get the Narset beats because they don't decide to ever block. Why can't this thing block? Yeah, opponent's definitely reading all of our cards. Okay, so creatures you control gain Double Strike. And this was actually a mistake from opponent. So I get to cast Enter the Infinite now. Savage Beating didn't let me do that before. I get to put an Omniscience on top. Now I can cast Fury of the Horde. And now I get to attack, reveal the Omniscience. Now even if they block, it doesn't matter because... I mean, I can kill it, but we're going to do this the easy way. So, yep, you kill Narset. All the bridges go away, which is probably why they didn't want to block in the first place. Cast the Omniscience. Cast Enter the Infinite. Put on, sure, a Brilliant Ultimatum. Then, sure, I'll make my land drop. But this is going to be cast Emrakul with Omniscience, take an extra turn. Take my extra turn. And flawless victory. Sack your 6 permanents, lose the game. The turn 2 Hogak with 3 bridges. I don't know why that made me so happy, but we just got a perfect victory versus like the best start in Modern. Yep, go to the yard. don't like none of your permanents. No, Narset Cannon isn't being banned. So I actually do know a lot of the lines. I love this deck. It's definitely my pet deck, but it is so inconsistent that it's never actually going to do anything very productive. So opponent's going to be on Leyline of the Void, which means I need all the bounce spells. Commandeer can grab Alter. I really don't think that's good enough. I think I just need to fight through the Graveyard Hate. That does require drawing an additional card, and they get very busted starts. Yeah, I mean, opponent's probably right. So we've shut down three games in a row without like any contest from the opponents. That's likely not happening again. So again, not really a huge fan of Brilliant Ultimatum. Like, I love this card. It's fun in Commander. It's basically just the awesome Factor Fiction, but it's really hard to actually get value off of it. It's basically 5 fresh looks off of Narset's trigger, and that's about it. So I'm just actually going to cut all 3 here. We do care about red cards for Fury of the Horde, but Savage Beating's likely coming out. I just hate this card. I've already misclicked it once. I'll get that updated for you. I'm pretty sure I still have Stream Decker up. No, this isn't really possible on a budget. So you need 1 Omniscience and 4 Enter the Infinites. It's easily your fastest win with this deck. Oh wow, I don't have the text for Narset Cannon. Let's export you. And you need the 5 color lands. So I love this deck. It's awesome. I also wouldn't recommend buying it. So as much as I love this deck and want to endorse it, it's very, very hard to justify actually getting it. Because when you buy this deck, you expect to go 0-5 or 1-4 most of the time. If you actually understand the lines and play it out correctly, you can go 3-2 relatively reliably. But there we go. That's updated. We'll go ahead and resubmit. It's also hated out by Graveyard Hate, and most decks are playing like 7-8 pieces of Graveyard Hate main now. That might change tomorrow with the ban announcement, but this hand is fantastic. So we don't have a Goryo's Vengeance off the top, and we don't have a second land, but Faithless Looting can solve a lot of problems. But more importantly, we have Echoing Truth. So if they try to commit into just a Leyline of the Void as their only interaction for us, we get to play a land, bounce the Leylines, all of them, and then follow it up with a Faithless Looting into maybe a Spoils, and then the following turn a Goryo's. So this is actually turn 3 kill. And they didn't even have the Leyline. So they might be on Surgical. And we found our land. I love this deck. It's so nice and kind. So just because the way that you are successful with this deck is actually planning out your future turns and trying to get probabilities. If I actually do Simian Spirit Guide with the Faithless Looting, no, you can't entwine for free. Then I find a Simian Spirit Guide and a Goryo's. I could actually win this turn, but the odds of that happening are 452, and I have a decent follow-up line of spoiling for... Actually... Yeah, so this is actually a turn 2 kill now since they don't have the Leyline. So what I get to do is start off with the Faithless Looting. Discard a Narset. Actually, let's just discard both. If they have a Surgical, we're going to the next game. Then that means that... Oh my gosh. The punts. I'm giving myself a punt. If I would have actually done that off the Simian Spirit Guide like I was talking about, then that means I could have used black at their end step to spoils for the Goryo's Vengeance, untapping Goryo's Vengeance for lethal. Now I actually have to draw Goryo's Vengeance or I'm a full turn off. Actually, no, I can still spoils and then Goryo's off the Simian Spirit Guide. We're fine. Alright, I guess we'll see if opponent has a Surgical. If they do, we can pull from Eternity, but it's going to set us back quite a bit. And they have the Hogok. Alright, scratch that. Might be taking this turn to bounce Hogok. They had to commit a lot of resources into that. So now I'm on the table for 3, or they have to fully commit into replaying Hogok, and I can get in without blockers. That's bad. That's really bad. So they should take spoils here. Unless they're unsurgical, then they might want to take the pull from Eternity. We can kill ourselves with spoils. It's completely possible. I've done it a million times. Spoils also gets worse the more attacks they get in. Alright, opponent, what you gonna do? Again, from the other side of the table, it's probably just the spoils, because the odds of me killing you off of a Narset attack are actually pretty high, especially if I have Fury of the Horde in hand. It means that any red card means I get an additional attack step with Narset. So this amount of time either means they stepped away or they don't have the surgical, and they're trying to figure out if it's worth the spoils or the Fury of the Horde. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to figure out what Pull from Eternity does for me. It's such a unique card. Enter the Infinite is how I killed them, but I need to get that off a Narset attack. Or an Omniscience. It being in hand is actually a threat. Alright, correctly determined they wanted the spoils. Wow, opponent's even on Guru lands. There's a Carrion Feeder. Alright, did not attack with the Bloodghast. It can't block. They found a bridge. They've already made their land drop. Oh, they're just replaying Hogok? I suppose that makes sense. Well, they don't have an altar yet. Oh. All right. I feel like a lot of my brews lately have been doing really bad things to me. It's nice that Narset Cannon's coming through. Echoing Truth Hogok, Omniscience, Enter the Infinite, and we're going to take it. Hey, Link. Yeah, we're going with some deliciousness here. Oh, if they actually sack the Bloodghast, they get 2 zombies. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I have a Emrakul coming, and they don't have reach. So yeah, double block, kill Narset. Exile the bridge. The sad thing is that they even know that I have the Enter the Omniscient in hand. Yep, that's damage. Narset dies. I suppose I don't actually know the last card in their hand, but they only left red up, which means that they can't have a Nature's Claim or anything. Opponent apparently doesn't want to move through damage. Couldn't really blame them there. They're dead, so... Nope, nope, nope. Wrong one. Cast with Omniscience. Alright, so then that means that I'll just put that back on top. Then I get to go find Mama Cruel. Free extra turn. Take my extra turn. And another flawless victory versus a very explosive Hogok start. Sack all the things and die. Yay! Alright, moving up to 2-0. Why play bad decks when you can Narset Cannon? Just for the record, guys, I know a lot of you, especially Rector, are looking at this deck. It is not this consistent. We've had a lot of good luck tonight. That's the only reason that we've 4-0'd so far, but whatever, I'm happy. So, Rector, it's $130 online. What are you missing? So you do need one Emrakul. Actually, you don't. It's just the fastest win off of hitting an Enter the Infinite or Omniscience. Simian Spirit Guides are mildly expensive. It's the Gemstone Mines. It's probably the Gemstone Mines. You don't technically need the Ley Lines. It does help a lot against Jund and the Rock. You do not want to play first with Narset Cannon. Never want to play first. This hand is awful. So we do get a Gemstone Caverns, but we have to exile the other one. We have mana, but we're still missing a Narset, a way for her to get into the yard, and a Goryo's Vengeance. Spoils only fixes so much of that. Yeah, but like if you go to Card Hoarder, you can probably get everything except for the Gemstone Mines for, I don't know, what's that going to be, like $40? Oh, that's fair. Yeah, if you're doing it for paper, this deck is expensive and has no reason. We are going to mulligan. We have Faithful Salutings, Goryo's Vengeance. So we don't have a cannon, but we have 5 draws to find it. So we can hang on to this. I actually really like getting the Swamp into the deck. It's great for Field of Ruin. The number of times I've actually cheesed a game because they think that we're on a really expensive mana base is, or really conservative, greedy, whatever you want to call it. Oh, it's Neoform. Okay, so the new version of our deck. I'm getting rid of Fury the Horde. It is likely the best, but the fact that I need to find a Narset means that I can't get rid of my Faithful Salutings. Wow. Alright, well, this deck is taken over as the Explosive Hotness. It's more consistent, but doesn't have Narset in it. So, I guess it's pretty fair that Neoform's actually going to knock us off of our win streak. So, Simian Spirit Guide, Eldritch Evolution. Oh, that's fine. So if I find Narset, I can still win here. Narset? Please? Not a Narset. Alright. Well. Wow. The struggles. Alright, well, Simian Spirit Guide is a single mana source, so it's going away. I can Gemstone Caverns for Faithful Saluting next turn, which means I'm 2 turns away. Alternatively, find a Faithful Saluting, discard the Gemstone Mine and one of the other, and a Narset. Then I think I have enough for Goryo's. Yeah, Rector, I love this deck, but I will genuinely tell you not to buy it. It's super funny, and like my local store actually does streaming of the top 2 tables. So I would take this, and if they tell me I'm on the top table, whip it out and have a ton of fun, but it's totally a pet deck. I do not endorse buying this. It's just a ton of fun, and it's probably worth watching streamers do it, but if you're trying to get it for paper, it's likely just not worth it. That's fair. Alright. Just show me one Nourishing Shoal and I'll scoop opponent. Because odds are I need 2 turns, which is 2 hits from Grizzlebrand. You haven't Summoner's Pact yet, which means I can still die, but like you at 4 is you at 20 for me. You spent $40 on Infinite Squirrels? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That deck was sweet and I loved it, but I am so sorry. I actually was going to try to 5-0 with Infinite Squirrels. It seemed like something cute and awesome that I'd totally be willing to do. All right, so I think opponent knows what our deck is trying to do because they 100% believe they can just beat us with an 8-8, which is completely possible. Not going to put that past them. Oh, Spoils of the Vault is what I want to draw. Spoils, naming Pull from Eternity, Exile and Narset, Pull from Eternity, and uh, go for the kill. So Infinite Squirrels is one of my brews that I put together for Squirrel Week. It's basically just the Intruder Alarm deck that so whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you untap target creature. Then you have an Arbor Elf that can untap a forest and a Squirrel Nest that generates a squirrel. So you put a squirrel into play with Squirrel Nest, and then you untap the Arbor Elf, which untaps the forest with the Squirrel Nest on it, and you get infinite squirrels. Uh, it was actually really funny, and all of my opponents got salty. Feel free to check it out, but let's play this game, which is not going well. We are currently 2-0 with Cannon, although we we have one out. Our single out here is to get hit by Grizzlebrand, have them not combo kill us, and then um, get a spoils of the vault, naming Pull from Eternity, take 1 damage off of it, and exile a Narset. Or I guess we could actually draw a Faithless Looting. Drawing a Faithless Looting and drawing into a Narset can also do it. I mean, they had to discard a lot of cards, although it was mostly combo pieces. One more Nourishing Shoal, and we're good to move to sideboard. Okay, that's fine. So, Commandeer seems hilarious in this matchup. I want to Commandeer all the things. Leyline of Sanctity, I don't actually think matters. That's only going to... Actually, what is their win condition? I know Lightning Storm was it for a while. Labman was it for a while. Unsubstantiate can bounce a Neoform back to their hand. So that seems relevant. Echoing Truth can hit Grizzlebrand, but I don't really think that's worth it. So I can get Besagio in case they're on Pact of Negation or Force of Negation. That might be relevant. It doesn't hurt to have another land. So what are we looking at here? We don't want to get rid of blue cards for Commandeer, which means I'm actually trimming more Savage Beatings and Serum Powders than usual. Then for Besagio, I'd probably just be cutting one of the Gemstone Caverns. Does that look right? I think that's about as good as it's going to get. Neoform has taken over as the meme deck, but whatever. We're Narset cannoning. We are currently 4-1 with our overall game record, though, which is just fantastic. I do actually own this deck. We need, I think, 70 more subscribers before we can get endorsed by Card Hoarder. We are just rounding the time benchmark that we can actually get borrowing cards, but we have done no marketing at all. Like, I made one post on Reddit, and that's all I've ever done. So, like, we need to get a little bit more visibility, but we own all the cards right now. Everything's out of pocket. I never want to play first. Oh, we have the Commandeer. So, Card Hoarder, I'm keeping this. If we find a Narset, we can pull from Eternity yet, but we have mana and a Commandeer, which is enough to make me happy. I don't care if we win this match. Card Hoarder will allow you to join their streamers network if you have something like 150 subscribers, you've been streaming for 6 months, and you average something in the ballpark of like 10 viewers a stream, which I'm off on the last one because we haven't been advertising. I'm off on the number of subscribers, but we are just rounding like within the week that we should have enough people subscribing, which is why I've been trying to do the self plug. I really hate doing it, but if people subscribe, we're more likely to be able to borrow cards and do more fun decks. So, Gemstone Caverns, exile the other one because this is a legendary land. So you're a turn too late, Narset, but we can commandeer and then polar. The sponsor is more like you can actually just request to borrow cards. The good old standstill. I'm likely exiling this Narset for Commandeer, so I'm actually going to play the land. Last time we played Narset Cannon, our opponent had a turn 1 Karn in big red and tried to take away all of our lands, and we discarded to hand size and one-shot him. Neo form. Neo form. Ah! I'm so happy. I could have unsubstantiated that, but whatever. That's my spell now. I have no valid targets. You have nothing left, opponent. Then we put Narset in the bin. I'm having so much fun. Oh my gosh. I'm not doing anything productive myself, but tell me, chat, are you guys just having the most wonderful time? We commandeered the Neo after they exiled 5 cards. Canopy lands would actually be pretty good in this deck. Although most people that play it don't. Most people that play it concede if it's not going very well. Oh, sorry, Link. What actually happened was they're in big red, so they exiled a Simian Spirit Guide. And then, actually, I can almost hardcast Narset. If I get an additional land, I'm very close to just hardcasting her. But they exiled a Simian Spirit Guide, double ritualed into... Okay, well, this is a way for me to kill them. Then they went and got a... I actually want to make sure I don't miss this. So those not following along at home, they would have had to pay 4 mana for the Summoner's Pact, but they couldn't, so we won. I'm having so much fun. Sorry, so to continue though, they ritualed out the Little Karn, the 4 mana Karn, then they went and got the Liquid Metal Coating, and they were on the play, so they were going to try to animate our lands to kill them, and I was already on discard Narset to hand size, play land Simian Spirit Guide Gorgios for the win, and then I one-shot them after I mulliganed to 5, so I just drew and discarded for 2 turns, and then ended up taking the win there. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. I don't think I can run this back. This does actually allow me to cast Commandeer, but it just can't happen. This can allow me to cast Unsubstantiate, but opponent's on the play, so we can die. Spoils can fix pieces, and I get a Tuck and Omniscience back into the deck. I'm perfectly okay with that. Alright, well, if we beat them, I'm going to be very happy, because we're the meme deck, and they're the Explosive Steel Games deck. But we might do it a little bit better. Opponent's trying to figure out if they can make that 7 happen. Oh, was so much fun. I actually think my best draw here might be a Simian Spirit Guide because a Simian Spirit Guide would allow me to unsubstantiate on my turn 1, their turn 2. But if they kill me here, they kill me here. Oh, they're on Cantor. Alright. So without the Simian Spirit Guide, basically just looking for a Goryo's Vengeance and a Narset. Well, there's one of them. Pull from Eternity. Does that help me? So I can Spoils for Narset, Binner. No, because my next turn is going to be Faithless Looting into Spoils. So I can get rid of one of the Faithless Looting and one of the Spoils. I don't think holding up Unsubstantiate's going to work. I mean, it could, but it's not likely. If I can just get my explosive start, I'm taking it. And I have all my pieces to do it. Spreading the counters around. Odds are I'm actually going to be using that Gemstone Mine this turn anyway. I mean, if the plan is to Cantor beat down, it can definitely work versus this deck. I wish I had a Simian Spirit Guide. I really do. Alright. They do only get 2 draws. I guess it's pretty typical. Well, a loss had to come eventually. Although, I do actually want to wait until end step. I have 6th, but I need to be able to cast the Spoils. My plan right now is to Spoils for a Simian Spirit Guide so that I can exile a Narset, and then after I exile Narset, I can put her into play. Actually, no. Turn off auto yields. Oh, I don't have 2 blue sources. Okay, I was thinking I could actually Spoils for a Commandeer. But I won't have 2 mana if I Spoils for a Simian Spirit Guide. Maybe that Faithless Looting was greedy. If I didn't cast that Faithless Looting, I could have held up the Unsubstantiate, and then I could have still taken my same line. I need another blue card, though. Alright, they get 1 more draw, 7. Nope, they can draw their deck. So now they need to figure out how to get Labman into play. So this is going to be another Simian Spirit Guide, a Manamorphose. This is going to give them blue mana, Simian Spirit Guide. If they don't find the last Simian Spirit Guide, they might not be able to win here. They would have to Wild Cantor into passing. Yeah, they need to find that last Simian Spirit Guide. Oh, I guess they have 2 left. They're going to try to get a Lab Maniac into play. They are looking for it, though, so they get 2 more redraws with the Manamorphose. Yep, there it is. So I'm going to kill myself here, just take the flavor win. But I do want to see how far down Narset would be if I named Simian Spirit Guide to see if we would have actually won on the draw. Aw, they did bring it in. So Besage was a good call. All right, well, you kill me then, opponent. All right, so draw, draw, draw. So we would have hit a Narset. Wow, and still no Simian Spirit Guide? Looks like I would have killed myself. Wow. Simian Spirit Guide, so 10-ish. Yeah, I actually would have killed myself. So that wasn't going to be a win regardless. But we do take a loss versus Neoform. Fully expected. I've mentioned it before, but this deck is not very consistent. I would not be surprised if we end up taking the 2-3 bracket. But hopefully we make it to 3-2. We do fun explodey things. Opponent just did a little bit better last time around. That's not even the right. That's terrible. Let's see if we can pull it up here. Alright, we have a deck view now, but let's actually look at the deck. So this is going to be a Gemstone Caverns, getting rid of Omniscience. Yeah, this is a keepable hand. So we actually are a little light on mana, but the Simian Spirit Guide will work in a pinch. We have the Goryo's Vengeance, a way to get Narset into the bin. We actually just need to find one. So we're going to keep this guy. And we kind of look like Eldrazi Tron right now. Playing versus normal Tron. All right. So this is a matchup we can definitely take, and it's even more fun when we can do it with Commandeer in the board. Oh boy. So get rid of Serum Powder and Omniscience. The second one in hand doesn't really do anything for us. Then recast the Faithless Looting. We're going to bin Narset and Savage Beating. All right, opponent, your go. It's possible you die here. It is possible they chalice on one. Look at that. I'm so good at this game. Doesn't do anything yet, though. So, oh, we even got a Fury of the Horde. Narset attacks. We exile 4. There's a Savage Beating and an Enter the Infinite. I think I'm just going to go for the easy win here. Like, I can do the whole beatdown plan and get double strike, but really doesn't matter. So cast Enter the Infinite. We're going to draw our entire deck. Then we get to put one card back on top. That's going to be the last Omniscience, which is why I run 2. So it's not typically common. I know some lists were playing with it, but my personal spice of this deck is to run 2 Omniscience in case we need to exile one or discard one. Then we're going to cast Fury of the Horde by exiling 2 red cards. It's just going to be Simian Spirit Guide since we're going to have Omniscience. That untaps our Narset. We get the additional attack step. I guess I should have cast Savage Beating. I just missed out on 3 damage by not casting it, but whatever. We got the win here. It's not like it matters. Sure. You get double strike, Narset. Get some free beats in. Free cast Omniscience. And Rector, if you're still watching, this is actually why I said you want to run this build, is because we could technically take multiple attack steps, but at least on MTGO. Crap. That was a misclick. So what I'm going to do then is actually just go for the hard win. Alternatively, I could have actually just cast the Emrakul. I misread the Enter the Infinite. Enter the Infinite will put a card back on top of your deck. I put Emrakul back on top, which makes this really painful because now I'm going to attack with Narset, exile Emrakul, but I can't cast it, which means it just goes to exile as opposed to being able to be played because it's a creature, but whatever. So, cast with Omniscience. And it's okay to get the Narset beat down game in. That was a misclick, but it works. So Eldrazi Tron, Commandeer still takes Karn. It still takes. I don't necessarily like Chalice in this matchup. If they can Chalice on 2, we basically can't win. All of our bounce spells are on 2. Besage, you can actually get around Chalice, though, so I usually bring it in just so I can Goryo's Vengeance through it. Commandeer takes Big Karn, Little Karn, Ugin, the Oblivion Stone. Yeah, Stony can come in here. It's actually in here for Hardened Skells. I really don't want to overboard, though, so I can either take Echoing Truth, Unsubstantiate, or Stony Silence. So I'm going to bring in probably just the... It's possible they're on Black Ley line. It's not likely. They're more likely on Relic. I absolutely hate Relic in this matchup. That's why you actually bring in the Stony Silence here. But we can bring in Unsubstantiates just because... I guess Echoing Truth is technically better in case they get 2 Grafdigger's Cages out. Yeah, it does cancel Oblivion Stone. I'm more concerned about stealing one of their walkers and just winning the game with it, with Commandeer. Or just getting the beatdown plan with Narset. As far as trimming cards, so anytime Commandeer comes in, you have to leave blue cards for the exile, so Brilliant Ultimatum stays. I know I already covered that this video, but I usually make that trim. Savage Beating is just so awkward to cast. Then we have to make a couple of other trims. So Fury of the Horde is free castable, especially after an Enter the Infinite, it's important. So probably actually just taking the Relentless Assault here, and oh boy. I can't bring in this many sideboard cards. I need to trim something. I guess Echoing Truth. Have a good one, Rector. Yeah, let's do that. I'm not excited about it. Actually, this might be better. Sure. That's the plan. This is a lot of mana, but nothing else. Yeah, this has to go back. I could technically, since I'm on the draw and discard Narset and draw into a Goryo's. That is one line that this hand has, but the reason why we take the draw is so that we can use Gemstone Caverns. So we're just going to try to get something a little bit better. London Mulligan's really helped. Oh boy. Can I keep this? How much red mana sources do I have? So I have 4 Mana Confluences, 4 Gemstone Mines, 4 Simian Spirit Guides. I have 12 sources of 53. I'm going to have to tuck a Fury of the Horde. But it has everything that I need to work. Worst case is I just discard to hand size and Goryo's. This is what playing this deck is like. You have to try to figure out what your odds are. The fact that I'm going to have to go to 5 and I technically need 2 mana sources, a Goryo's Vengeance, a Narset, and a way to Binner, that's going to require a perfect hand. So I'm going to hang on to this. Going to tuck the Fury of the Horde, and hopefully this works. If I find another... Wow, 2 ley lines. Okay, so this is going to go downhill pretty quickly then. How many of these did I bring in? Okay. So Stony likely has to come out if we make it to game 3. Wow, opponent had a really good start, but they have no action and they're missing lands. Oh boy, though, we're not doing any better. So, with what's in my hand currently, I think I have to start discarding Faithless Lootings. Nope, that's going first. 100% going first. And opponent has Tron. Wow, this is painful. Wow. Opponent, I'm not having fun. Look at how much sideboard heat you had for Hogok. Alright, so what... Instep, I spoils for Gemstone Mine. I play the Gemstone Mine. Sorry, not Gemstone Mine. I would have to go for Echoing Truth. I'm going to probably take 5 damage, but best case scenarios here. So, spoils for an Echoing Truth. Draw a land. Echoing Truth the Ley Lines. Then top deck a Stony Silence so they can't activate Tormod's Crypt. I'd actually prefer not to reveal my deck so that they can see how I sideboarded. Then Faithless Looting, top deck a Simian Spirit Guide. I do technically have a line here, but it's going to show a lot of my deck. And I need to get insanely lucky. Like, I'm looking at like 1 in a million lucky. But I do have a plan. If I take more than 5 damage from the spoils, I'm not going to win. Wow, opponent's just showing off. So going for a Commandeer here, if they try to play in a Planeswalker, actually might have worked. Alright, well that's game. Okay, so Unsubstantiate has to come in. That was so painful. I think that means Stony Silence can come out. They probably have both. Like, we saw the Tormod's Crypt, but we can fight a single Tormod's Crypt. Relic is the one that's a pain because Tormod's Crypt is a one and done where Relic can still just snag whatever's on top of your library and you have to find multiple cards to bin when you're trying to live off the top to finish the combo. This looks about as good as I can hope for. Hopefully just get a stronger hand. Not going to play first. This is both Echoing Truths. It does not have a Narset or a way to get her into the bin or a way to reanimate her, though, so that's a mulligan. This is a Commandeer, exiling Narset, a spoils for the other half of the combo, mana. Oh boy, but that means I'm tucking the Simian Spirit Guide and exiling the Simian Spirit Guide. Oh, that's so bad. Okay, we're going to tuck the Simian Spirit Guide. Commandeer something good. Well, no Leyline is a start. A lot of times when you're playing this deck, opponent doesn't realize that you give them the play. I'm going to leave the spoils for a second. I want to try to figure out what I draw into. Okay. Well, I suppose that's a thing. Again, just waiting for now. The spoils is likely going to go grab a Pull from Eternity so that I can get the Narset back after the Commandeer, or a Faithless Looting, and the other one's getting a Goryo's Vengeance. And that's to shut that off. It's my Tormod's Crypt. It's mine. And that's an Expedition map. So if I top deck a land, I can win next turn if I go for one of the combo pieces here. So I'm going to look for a... Actually, no, I'm going to be 1 mana off. I'm going to go for a Pull from Eternity because it seems more likely that they're going to Chalice next turn. So I'd prefer to have that up. Ouch. Ouch. And no land. So I got rid of a total of 3 mana sources. Just a Mind Stone. Well, they're going to have Tron next turn. Oh boy. So a winning line could also be untap Faithless Looting, discard Narset, draw into Agorio's Vengeance and a Simian Spirit Guide. Whatever. Let's just be safe and get one in the bin. If they surgical us, they surgical us. That's an echoing truth. Another pull, another echoing truth. Honestly, just looking for a mana source and a Goryo's Vengeance now. They're going to have a Thought Knot. Things are going downhill quickly. Yep, I can't attack through a Thought Knot, and that puts us on a 2-turn clock. Yeah, I couldn't cast that anyway as long as you could attack. Ouch. Alright, so they attack in. I draw a Faithless Looting, drawing into Agorio's and a Simian Spirit Guide. I think that's my only line. Or they just kill me. Alright, well that's a little bit more on par for what Narset Cannon's supposed to do. We moved to 2-2, but hopefully we'll be able to cash out with this. It's always fun playing this deck, and you don't do it to win, you do it to crush dreams, like when we took Hogok's most busted start ever. That was just cruel and unusual punishment. But let's see if we can close this out. I'd love to see a Frank Karsten article talking about the odds of this deck actually functioning. I'm just not strong enough with the mathematics, but from my experience, it's about a 10% chance that you win on turn 2, probably about a 2 to 3% you win on turn 1, and then you fizzle and die the other 87% of the time. But sometimes in that fizzle to die category, you do actually get to draw multiple cards and actually weasel your way through a couple of wins. Wow, opponent came in at the last second. Never play first. This is a primo hand to Serum Powder. So it gets a Narset into a bin, or into exile, so that we can pull from Eternity it. Enter the Infinite is a really good draw off of a Narset, so getting rid of 3 of them is quite awful, but it does actually thin down what we can see in our deck. Faithless Looting is pretty decent at enabling, but we're going to powder that. This is turn 2 win. Possibly turn 3, depending on the Faithless Looting. Or, sorry, turn 1. We'd actually have to draw it into a Simian Spirit Guide, then Faithless Looting into 1. Okay, so Big Red. You can beat Big Red. Cute. Alright, well, this is still going to be turn 2, but we get to do it the fun way of discarding to hand size. Oh, I love this deck. It does not tend itself to very intuitive play patterns, but I absolutely love it. Oh, if that was a Blood Moon, we actually would have lost there. I didn't consider that. Alright. Exile you. Goryo's Vengeance you. Get a black. Yay, Narset! Unfortunately, don't have another red card in hand. Oh, that's painful. That is so painful. Alright, what can we piece together off of this? I can Goryo's Vengeance again. I really don't think that helps. May as well cast a Serum Powder. It's free. So I think what needs to happen is I need to let Narset get exiled. Then I'll pull her and put her back in the yard. And when I do that, I'm drawing live to another Goryo's Vengeance. Oh, that's painful. I guess I had one in the yard. Oh well. And there's a Chalice. So good at this game. That was a terrible whiff. Cost of doing business, though. Legion Warboss does put us on a pretty fast clock. Faithless Looting is currently turned off. Hard casting Narset is quite out of the realm of what we can do. Although the deck wants us to think we can. If we had you in our hand last turn, we could have cast Fury the Horde and got another shot at it. So currently taking 7, which means we're dead next turn. So I need to draw Goryo's Vengeance. Actually, there's no outs because I can't find a way to get Narset in the bin with Faithless Looting shut off from the Chalice. Alright. So, Blood Moon is actually very painful in this deck, and the reason we're running a basic Swamp. We can't really go fetch it unless they Field of Ruin or Path us, but this basic Swamp does give us an out. The blue is really hard to cast. We have to float the mana beforehand. Commandeer is lovely versus the Planeswalkers, although if you're on Legion War Boss, that means you're already running 4 Rabble Masters, so they're likely not on the Planeswalker build. They might have Torch of Defiance, but I can't imagine that they actually are running the full suite of the Karns and the Chandras and the Koths and the old build of Big Red. So I do need some amount of Graveyard Hate. They should be on Relic. So these 4 guys are probably coming in for the normal spread. Question is, do I actually want to dilute my game plan for Commandeer? They do have Planeswalkers, but really don't think that matters. I guess I can Shining Shoal to prevent damage and kill one of their things, but this is in here for burn. I don't even think I brought it in for burn. This is just an additional way to exile Narset, as well as being a little bit of sideboard tech. There might be an argument for a Stony Silence since I'm expecting Relic. Let's actually do that. Super scientific. I actually am not a huge fan of this matchup. This matchup usually goes very poorly for us because they can cheese out like a turn 1 Blood Moon and we just can't do anything about it. There's absolutely no mana in here, otherwise this hand looks perfect. I guess Simian Spirit Guide counts as 1 mana, but we need black and a permanent source. So let's get rid of that. Oh boy. So this is just looking for a way to get Narset into the yard. I'm already going to 6 that I'm going to lose 2 more cards to the Gemstone Caverns. But I'll actually have Unsubstantiate up if they go for a big spell. Alright. Not overly excited about this, but we'll give it a shot. Omniscience is horrible. Does absolutely nothing except for get discarded to Faithless Looting. Go big, opponent. Alright, so hanging on to the Unsubstantiate for now just because I can bounce this and then cast something for 1 mana. Oh boy. All the big cards. Deck, I want to meme harder. That is a Blood Moon. So what is my out here? I can Unsubstantiate the Blood Moon, untap, draw Faithless Looting, kill them. So right now I'm leaning towards Unsubstantiate. Alternatively, I draw until I can discard a hand size and Goryo's Vengeance is live. Unsubstantiate's not going to buy me a turn because I can't discard the hand size. And currently Chalice of the Void is shutting off the Pull from Eternity as well as the Faithless Looting. If I Unsubstantiate, I'm drawing live to Faithless Looting. If I Unsubstantiate the Chalice, I'm drawing live to Faithless Looting to discard Narset under the Blood Moon and then kill them with... Alright, I think everything I'm hearing is I bounce either this or the Chalice, and this is going to give me the most lines out. Like that. That actually needed Chalice bounced. Oh, God. Oh, I cannot win. All right, so drawing 3 cards, discarding Narset, and then one of those being a Goryo's Vengeance. It's currently my best line. That can cast a Simian Spirit Guide. That's not good enough. This is when I wanted Commandeer. Alright, that's going to start turning on land destruction. Turning off the swamp's actually going to make us lose the game, so I think that's it. There's the Goryos. Alright, well, 1 turn off. Might need to blame that one on deck being mean to me. Get the Gemstone Caverns. Do it. Do it. Do it. Lame. Alright, well, that means that my colored mana is currently cut off. We can take one more quick look, but I think that's it. Without the swamp, I have no outs. In the sideboard, I could have nothing castable under the Gemstone Caverns. Opponent's tapped out. We'll just take one more look at a draw, but I'm pretty sure that means I'm completely out of outs. I was 1 turn off, though. That's unfortunate. Maybe I probably wasn't supposed to use the Gemstone Caverns. Would have left a card in my hand. Oh, yeah. Whatever. I knew it was over. Well, that's unfortunate. We do go 2-3 with Narset Cannon, though. Honestly, though, I've said it multiple times so far this stream. You don't play this because you want to do well. You do it because when Hogok has a turn 3 with 3 bridges in the yard, it's done. Like, that's why you do it. Well, yep. Unfortunately, our artifact deck didn't work, so nothing to do with the ban list. Guys, I am thirteene. I do several decks for Squirrel Dealer. Ton of jank, infinite squirrels, couple of limited things, but like everything that we can do that's fun and janky. If you have a fun deck idea, feel free to send it to Decks at Squirrel Dealer. Check out our YouTube page. So this is just a short assortment of some of the stuff that we've done, like Esper Highlander, literally just legends and one-ofs. Done Narset Cannon a couple of times, and these are all actually cataloged. You can go check out the videos. We just do a ton of fun stuff here. We believe in having a lot of fun as opposed to like just trying to do anything we can to spike. Brad One does do a little bit more competitive stuff, but that's all cool. Still just has fun playing. That's really all we're aiming for. If you do like our content, feel free to check out our Squirrel Dealer staff account on Twitch. It'll be hosting anything that we're doing. If you want to reach out to us, Squirrel Dealer on Twitter or thirteene on Reddit will get to me directly. And streaming schedule's up there. We basically try to do fun stuff. Feel free to like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. And I think that's about all I can really say tonight. Unfortunately, the artifact deck didn't work very well, but Bell and Cannon is always an option. I always have a ton of fun with it. But thanks for sticking around, guys, and enjoy the rest of your night.